Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, college football fans, college soccer fans, sports fans, golf fans,
World Cup fans.
Victor Hovland rolled in that little putt and beats Scotty Scheffler, who couldn't make, what was it, a 3 or 4 footer?
2 footer.
What
I heard.
To win that playoff at the Travelers. Oh man, that was worth getting up. Well, I didn't get up early. I actually got up early. That didn't happen until 9:10 a.m. But as we record this on a Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen, the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall and featuring a guest that Clay Hall had on while I was in absentia. Is that the correct term?
No, you were on special assignment.
I was on special assignment, yeah.
At the U.S.
At
Open.
the U.S. Open in Shinnecock.
That's right.
Shinnecock Hills, excuse me. Brian Maisonneuve, head soccer coach at The Ohio State University. Welcome back again to the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall, my man.
Well, thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, it's pretty cool. I'm not a huge soccer fan. One of the reasons is I had to cover the Columbus Magic way back when. I don't even know if you're old enough to remember that, Brian, but there was the American League of Soccer, whatever it was, ASL or ALS, ASL, American Soccer League, that was in Columbus for a couple of years. The Columbus Crew, and boy, they had what I would call a ragtag bunch of vagabonds that were already washed out of the EPL and all these other big time things, but they still were pretty good soccer players. And they played at the old, it's now the old, even almost gone, Franklin County Stadium way back when on AstroTurf.
Oh.
On AstroTurf. And it was actually not that bad of soccer, but as I always like to reminisce, the goalie on that team only had one good eye. He'd gotten kicked in the face and was a hell of a goalie in Europe until he got kicked in the face. You know, I mean, I'm telling you, people don't think soccer is a contact sport or watching the same sport I am. But and just like that, you can be in peril. But Brian, number one, I want to have you on again for a couple of reasons. Number one of which is Ohio State. United States is advanced to the knockout round? Is that what you call it?
Round of 32.
Round of 32. Of course, they lost their last game against Turkey, depending on how you pronounce it. I think with those 2 dots over the U, it's supposed to be Turkey. But bottom line is, what do you like about this American team now that you've seen them play, or seen at least parts of them playing 3 games in the World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting. Like I said last week, I'm really impressed with the way Pochettino's put the team together. I think from front to back, we're as talented as we've ever been. But yet we're young and we got energy. I think tactically, I like the way we're attacking and defending. So I think it's about as solid of a group that I've seen in a long time. And to get those 2 wins under our belt and to win the group, I mean, our confidence is high. So I mean, going into the knockout stage, I'm really optimistic and excited about this group.
Hey, what did you take, by the way, about the lineup they started and played against Turkey, and what good does that do a team when you play some of the guys who don't usually play a lot, if you follow my drift? And is there, I mean, I would think that's major league, whatever you want to call it, experience for those guys, right?
Yeah.
But what did you just take about the way that game went down, that match or whatever you call it went down, and then of course it went down to the wire to a certain extent?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, no, I thought it was good. I thought they did what they had to do, and I thought we did some good things. It was a brand new 11 besides Weston McKinney was in there. So it was a brand new 11, got everybody a game under their belt in the World Cup. I mean, those guys have all played at a high level, but still playing in the World Cup in your home country, just to be able to get that game against a good opponent. I mean, Turkey, I think underperformed. They're a talented group, and coming into the World Cup, a lot of people said they're going to be our toughest game, and they lost it 2 before. So they were a good team, and I thought we did some good things. I thought offensively we created a lot of chances. Defensively, I thought we weren't quite as good as we could have been. I'm giving up 3 goals, and as you said, the last one came in the last kick of the ball. But still, it gave our backs some experience, and we're gonna need everybody if we're gonna make a deep run in the World Cup. So this gives everybody an opportunity to get on the field, to get rid of those nerves, and to get after it here in the knockout round.
Yeah, so that's not a chink in the armor for the U.S. to lose that game in the 98th minute, I guess?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, like I said, we had guys on yellow cards. We couldn't play them. We got other guys' experience. I think it'll really benefit us in these next couple games. Well, one game at a time. So I'm not jumping ahead.
There you go.
It seems like Christian Pulisic is full go now. Has played enough to get back in the flow. As I read about this game with Bosnia on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, it's up-tempo U.S. against a slow-footed Bosnian team, big team, tallest team in the field with a 6'4" striker. Does that worry you a little bit?
I mean, they're a good team. I'll be honest with you. I don't know a ton about them, but I know they're organized. They're going to be hard to break down. As you just mentioned, they're going to be big and organized and solid in the back. I'm guessing with their height, they're going to play for set pieces.
Right, exactly.
And so, I mean, it's going to be a tough game. I like where we're at, though. I think this might be the first time we've been favored in a knockout round. So it's a little bit new territory for us. But like I said at the beginning, I'm really excited about this group on both sides of the ball. I think we'll be able to defend those set pieces and be able to create some things going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Bosnia Herzegovina is like what they to put it in European terms, they like to build a fort or a castle, past the midfield mark and with a little bit of a moat in front of it, and just man, if they can, as the old saying goes in like football, if they can get it to the fourth quarter with a chance to win, they feel like they've accomplished something, right? I mean, those are tough teams to go against.
Really tough. I mean, the best thing would be if we can get an early goal and they have to actually come out of their defensive block.
Move their pieces,
exactly. But like you said, the longer it goes 0-0, the tighter it's going to be. But like I do think we have the pieces to break down a low block, both in the run of play with combination play, and then I think on set pieces we're pretty good as well. So if they want to sit back and just give us corner after corner, I think we'll take advantage of it. So I really like us going into this game.
Mays, when we talked a week or two ago, I don't know if you said it in no uncertain terms, but you let it be known that it was kind of like, why not us? Well, I mean, we got a shot here to make a real run, a deep run, maybe the deepest they've ever had. Do you still kind of stand by that? And even if everything fell right, the U.S. could win this thing.
I do. I really do. I think we're talented enough that, I mean, we need to get some breaks and we need to have a little luck on our side. But I mean, anybody who wins the World Cup, you have to have a couple bounces that go your way, even the most talented teams. But anybody who won the World Cup, you always have to have a couple things go your way. So, but I think we're talented enough to beat anybody. So yeah, I stand by that.
Who else would be in the top five there? I mean, Brazil. Give me some others that might you would think of first before the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have France winning it all, and if I had to, I mean, they're the most talented. I mean, their second team could probably be in the top five as well. Argentina's really good. A lot of people like Spain. I mean, Portugal's got one of the best midfields in the cup. So I mean, there's Brazil's always good. So there's a couple teams that some people would put ahead of us, and maybe rightfully so. But like I said, I think we're talented enough to make a really deep run. And when it comes down to it, why not us? I do think we could pull it off.
How about the young Berhalter kid? His dad, coached the national team for many years. I like the way he plays. He has some grit to him. I just played much different than his dad played on the national team. But what do you think of young Berhalter?
Yeah, Sebastian's definitely got a little bite to him. He's got a little edge. He's a coach's son, so tactically he's very good. But man, he's a fighter. He's a tough kid. I liked him, watching him, grow up and coming out of the Crew Academy, and so I've seen him play since he's been young. Always enjoyed his game, but he's really come out of his. He's really stepped it up, I should say, and to be on the world scene and doing what he's doing. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Wow. Do you sense soccer fever. I was at Shinnecock Hills, last week for the U.S. Open a week and a half ago, and of course I had to go through. I drove, had to go over the George Washington Bridge twice, which took 4 hours out of my life, 2 going and 2 coming back. But the point was, there are all kinds of signs there about traffic for the World Cup, even though it's in New Jersey, et cetera. My point is the fever, at least the whether it's a long-lived fever, but the fever for soccer in this country, I think this World Cup presence has delivered in some respects. I mean, there were guys running around in kilts at the U.S. Open who were, big on soccer, but also there to watch their favorite guys from the United Kingdom be there and play. But my point is, do you sense a verve, Brian, that this World Cup has brought?
Absolutely. I think the passion for the sport has definitely come out. I think the production, the crowds, everything about it is what we hoped for, and I think it's delivered and then some. I think the visitors that have come in, I think the fans from different countries have added a lot to it, and I think the U.S. has done a real good job putting it on. I've heard nothing but great things from visitors on social media. It's definitely been a good showing for us as hosts, and same thing Mexico and Canada. But I do also think that people have caught on. I think the production, the way it's been covered, has really drawn a lot of attention to just sports fans. And I went to a wedding over the weekend, and that's all we talked about was the World Cup, and whether they were ex-players or just people that have never really watched soccer. Man, I agree with you. They had World Cup fever, and it's been a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, I think the Fox approach with like Rob Stone leading the discussions in between games and stuff like that, it gives you that college football feel. And, I'm not, I'll be honest with you, I haven't been to many Ohio State soccer games lately, but I think y'all probably, there's tailgating going on in that regard. But it gives you that college football feel, which is kind of cool, right? I mean, that get people charged up before and during the games. And then the turnout in downtown Columbus for some of those watch parties. I mean, my buddy Adam King at Channel 10 was remarking about it the other day, just how, yes, there are soccer fans out there. And I think they've grown with the cruise presence. They've grown immensely up. And I don't know, has it filtered over to you and your group?
Yeah, no, I mean, I meant to add it. I mean, the watch parties have been fantastic, whether it's, in Bridge Park or even just neighborhoods and families just getting together with other families to watch games. I mean, I've heard story after story of I watched it with this group or I went down here for that group. And again, the excitement, the passion for the sport, it's just been, it gives me the chills thinking about it, just to watch the growth of the normal sports fan now becoming a soccer fan and a World Cup fan.
Yeah, it's funny because I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old grandsons, and I got a little cute as hell granddaughter, 4.5 months old. But my point is, I mean, my 4-year-old grandson a year ago, what he wanted, one of the things he wanted for Christmas was a Holland jersey, and really? Victor Holland, and I'm just going, and he wears it proudly, and of course he's growing out of it now. But my older grandson has been a Messi fan for, what is he, 7 years old? He's been a Messi fan, it seems like, for 5 years, and that just when you see kids walking around with hockey jerseys on instead of necessarily all the time football or baseball or maybe hockey gear, that really does tell you there's a swell going on, right? A groundswell. Yeah,
I mean, just walking around, I was eating just yesterday with the family, and there are a couple of U.S. jerseys on just in the restaurant, and just to see not only U.S. jerseys, but like you said, Messi jerseys and all the stars, whether Ronaldo, and just to see the jerseys and the support. It's definitely policing.
Yeah.
The kids love it.
A lot of policing jerseys running around out there.
Filming. Yeah, that's great.
Brian, when you played in the World Cup in '98, where was that? I'm trying to recall.
That was in France.
France. Yeah.
So as I remember it, all the watch parties were in the middle of the night, early. I just remember covering those at Crew Stadium, in the historic Crew Stadium, and what was it like? Can you describe wearing that jersey again and walking on the pitch and playing whoever it might have been? And I know that you took 3 very close losses, but can you I don't know, can you compare that fervor to anything else that you've ever been a part of?
Yeah, there's nothing like it. I was blessed to be able to play in the '96 Olympics, which was here obviously in Atlanta, and to play for your national team, whether Olympics, World Cup, but especially in your home country. I can remember the first game in the Olympics. We had 98,000 people at Legion Field playing against Argentina, and just the emotions, and you could just feel it when you walked out of the tunnel. The USA chant, and I know half the stadium probably weren't soccer fans, but they were US fans. And there's something that the pride that you take having the jersey on, representing your country, though it's just a soccer game, you're still representing your country, whether again Olympics in your home country or in the World Cup in France. It truly is an honor, and it's something you never forget, and you definitely don't take it lightly by any stretch.
Could you sense the ghost of Bear Bryant looking down on you and going, "What are you doing? This is hallowed ground. This is where I used to go to when I was a little bitty kid." My dad took me and my older brother to Alabama home games, and Legion Field was hallowed ground. But it's pretty fun. Go ahead. But when you make inroads like that in a football, you know what I mean, a big time college football area, it does show you, man, with just a little more octane in the field, this thing could really go places, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and you feel it right now. That, like I said, the coverage on TV has been fantastic, and it just gets everybody excited. I'll walk around. I was at my neighbor's the other day, and he's not really a soccer fan, and just kind of strolled in, and he had the coverage on just in the background. I'm like, "What are you watching?" He's like, "Oh, I just got the World Cup. Did you see so and so's playing?" And this team's up next, and it's just exciting. My neighbors who are soccer fans mainly because I am, but they have the games on, and they're bringing things up to me that I didn't even know, which is it's so much fun, and the excitement, and I do think it's going to carry over even once the World Cup's done. I think the percentage of growth in this country is you're going to be able to see it and feel it.
Hey, what if they played the World Cup every 2 years like the Ryder Cup? Because like you say, you get this. It's this zenith kind of momentum and all of that, and then it fades, and then it comes back up. I don't know. I'm just thinking maybe for the sport and the growth, would you consider such a thing, or does it take 4 years to build back up to such a plateau?
Yeah, I mean, you have other championships kind of in between there, even the Olympics. You kind of have that just in terms of the Olympic soccer kind of falls right in between the World Cup, and it takes a year to qualify for the World Cup. And so I think I know what you're saying, and I would love to see it every 2 years. I think that would take a little bit away from it. Even though, man, I'm going to be a little bit depressed when the World Cup's over, because even with the knockout stages, I'm like, man, I just love having constant soccer on and knowing who's going to play. So I would love it every 2 years. Right. I don't think we could pull that off.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, I wanted to ask you this, Brian. The point is, it's an incredible endeavor from a financial standpoint and everything to organize these things. Now, if you had if you just had like a Rose Bowl kind of place, you know what I mean, where you could everybody could go every 2 years and everything's already set up, infrastructure and everything else, and that would be a different kind of animal. But I mean, they're playing all over the North American continent, which is really cool. Agreed?
Yeah. I mean, it is great, and to go from different hosts, every countries get to host it every 4 years, and just the excitement, the build up to it is it's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, I'm giving you 2 picks, and you could pick two players on any of the World Cup teams to be the pillars for your team that you're building, the Brian Maisonneuve Super All-Star Extravaganza team. Who would be the 2 players you would pick?
Oh, are you talking college?
Oh,
You talking?
wait. No, I'm talking about from these World Cup teams, guys you've seen play, and not a goalie, okay? Because a goalie, I figure you'd have an all-star goalie, but two players that are difference makers. That, I mean, like I watched Holland play. I think it was in the second round or the second game they played. He looked like a man among boys at some points. Now, sometimes it's who you're playing and stuff, but you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
who would be the two players you would pick? Would it be the obvious that some people have? Although I think, you know what I mean? Some of these guys are getting a little older.
Yeah. No, I would probably state the obvious. I mean, from Erling Haaland, I mean, he's younger. So, I mean, but to have him, he just scores goals at a ridiculous pace. And man, he just plays. He plays like he's suspended sometimes, He's flowing through things. Yep. And then, I mean, Messi is just, for me, he's the all-time. I know he's getting older, but just to have him on your squad, even to build around him, just to have him would be unbelievable. But I'm going to stick with the U.S. too. I like a couple of our center midfielders. I love Tyler Adams. I love watching him play, and Weston McKennie. I think those two, for me, I give the shout out to the U.S. and those guys because they're fun to watch. I think. Their growth from the last two World Cups and moving forward, they're going to be like world stars, or they have the potential to do it. And I really like the way they play. I like their game. So I'll give them a shout out as well.
Yeah. You know what has stood out to me about this World Cup, and I've noticed it before, but not on this level, especially the better teams. This game is being played at such an incredible fast pace. And the velocity sometimes that these teams develop on offense, especially, is off the chart in some respects. And I don't remember it always being that way, way back when. I can remember back in the 70s and 80s and stuff. And if you notice that just about your sport in general, how much faster like your team is playing now than college soccer was played maybe 20, 30 years ago. I mean, y'all are getting some big-time athletes involved, but also the game, like you talked about a while ago, but the U.S. team, they play at such a velocity. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it is. And, I mean, every sport, you could say across the board, has just gotten really, really athletic. And soccer is definitely one of them, that the athletes that are playing at the pace they play is pretty incredible, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And that's gone through from youth soccer to college soccer to now, as you said, both in the MLS and internationally. But I also think, I know I mentioned this before, I think the coverage of the games have been really good. The amount of cameras that are covering it, and the way they know when to zoom in, that when they know how to show the tackles, someone getting cleated in the thigh, you love to see that. I mean, it's just like a hard football tackle, seeing it from three different angles, a crunching tackle in football, a hard tackle in soccer, a good move, or someone's footwork and they zoom in on it. I think that's been great for the production of the game, and it's been fun to watch. Sometimes there for a while, soccer games used to have 3 or 4 cameras and they were really far away, and it made the game look slow. Now there's 20, 30 cameras, and you're zooming in at the right time, and it just shows the actual pace of the game, which is entertaining.
Yeah, the ball handling, the dribbling, whatever, is just it's kind of unbelievable what these guys do. They do some stuff now that maybe 20 years ago they kind of did on the side. You know what I mean? It's warm up stuff. My little 4-year-old, 4-year-old grandson, Charlie, he dominated his little no goalie league this year. I mean, he came out with like headband on and 2 sweatbands on, and I'm just going, wait a minute, boy, I'm not saying this myself, son. You gonna show up like that? You better be good. And he would they would win like 10-4, and he'd score 8 or 9 of the goals, and stuff like that. But he did little footwork stuff, and I'm just going, where did he get this? But some kids learn by watching, right? And that's what's cool about having this on in prime time, is that they're getting to see the best of the best do this. And like you said, in many respects, up close and personal. I think that really gets you going when you see somebody putting on a show.
Oh, it's huge for the game. It's huge for the growth. And like you said, young kids are seeing this. even older people are just like, whoa, I never knew it was quite like that. And now you're seeing the highest level. And it's like I said, I think it's going to really help grow the game, not only in this country, but around the world.
Brian, what you said about the production value, or what Tim said about the production value of these broadcasts, have made it it kind of puts you in that frenetic pace that's being played, and it just brings it to life. I get from you, I surmise from your comments earlier in the conversation that you think the Ohio State, you think the U.S. will advance to the round of 16. And I think so much about not a parallel, but how badly Ohio State basketball fans want Ohio State to be in the Sweet 16. What would that mean for the U.S. to be in the round of 16? I mean, it's been a while since they've advanced that far, has it not?
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's more teams this year. So, this is the first round of the knockout rounds. There's 32 teams. There's only 32 teams in the World Cup last time. So just more teams. But I do think we can beat Bosnia for sure. It's going to be a tough game though. So I shouldn't say for sure, because you don't want to overlook anybody, but I do think we're the favored, we're the favorite team. And so I'm excited about the game. And I think it'll just continue the excitement. And that's what I think part of it is for me. The longer we can go, it's just this exciting ride for myself and for the entire country we get to continue to get on. And that's why I was excited for Canada yesterday when they won, just to have the host countries continue to advance. I just think it adds excitement to the World Cup.
Amen. Last thing, at least for me, you never know about Clay. What are you telling your players in terms of do you ever, I mean, almost like you assign, it would be almost like an assignment or something, but are you telling them to pay close attention? I mean, how are you using this as a learning motivational tool for your players, Brian?
Yeah, I don't even have to. They're junkies. They probably know more of the stats and social media and the tactical trends and all that than I do. They are they're into it. A lot of our guys will help out with camp. So, we're talking World Cup all the time, and their knowledge of international soccer is really impressive. And but just like everybody else, they're learning. I'm learning, different, tactical situations, different trends, what's working, what's not working. So like for me, just from a learning standpoint, it's really exciting because you click on social media and you see different things that coaches are doing, and some coaches it's worked out for, some it hasn't. So just like everybody else, I get to learn from this tournament as well. But our guys are definitely into it.
I was thinking, the other coaches are watching it too, right? They're seeing, so you almost have to prepare. You may want to employ some of those things, but you also have to prepare for they may be employed against you. What's really cool about sport, man, the way it keeps evolving. Go ahead, Clay. You got one last question? We'll let him go.
No, I was just going to just say thank you for the time. I know he wants to get out the door and start a little getaway from coaching for a couple of days. Mace, thanks so much. And, hey, thanks for being part of the foundation of U.S. soccer along the way, and certainly the Columbus Crew for 9 years.
Well, I really appreciate you guys having me on. I could talk soccer all day long. This is I love this, and like you said, it's World Cup fever time. So thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Tim, I got to get your grandson's name now. If he's scoring 8 or 9 goals for the future,
Charlie,
I might have to get his name now.
Well, it was. Do you know what was cool? What was cool was the other parents. Because, finally, you have these things in youth now where sometimes they don't keep score, but everybody keeps score. You understand what I'm saying?
There's no such thing.
And they were cheering him instead of like, hey, pass it to my kid. You know what I mean? It was like, because, when you got 4-year-olds, he's 4.5. So there's a big difference between a 4.5-year-old and a just turned 4-year-old, right? And it's crazy. But Charlie, my son Owen plays for a team in Upper Arlington. He's 7, but they play a pretty high quality brand. I mean, it's kind of cool. Of course, they're also playing baseball and everything else, flag football. But they both really enjoy soccer, and because in soccer, you're involved, you're moving around, you're doing things even when you don't have the ball. And that's not necessarily always the case in especially in baseball. I think you know what I'm saying there, Brian. So I think the future bodes well for this sport, especially the way they keep trying to more and more tame football, from its brutal days to now. Now they're encouraging youngsters to play flag football, and my 7-year-old grandson really enjoys that and flourished in that. But I just think, give this another 10 years. It's going to be interesting to see where soccer really lays in the big time landscape in, I think, United States sports. I don't know if you see that trend or not, but I do.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think the growth is going to be fantastic, and this tournament's definitely going to help it.
Absolutely. Brian Maisonneuve, thank you very much, man. A superstar in his own right, ladies and gentlemen. He played on the biggest of world stages. He's coaching now the Ohio State men's soccer team. Maybe we can get Ross Bjork to start giving you guys a little bit of revenue sharing. We'll see where that goes. I know you have no comment on that, but a little bit goes a long way in a sport like yours, correct?
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I threw that in there just to scare you.
I appreciate that.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot,
you.
Brian.
Thanks, man.
We'll see you guys.
All right, buddy. Good
stuff. It was great having Brian Maisonneuve on. I mean, like I was saying, Ohio State has got quality head coaches throughout the 36 sport program over there. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, they're the cream.
Yeah.
And it rises very often.
But I mean, when you got a guy with his background.
Yeah. Think of the resume. I mean, that's
a hell of a resume.
Yeah. In Indiana, I think associate head coach before arriving at Ohio State. Great hire.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. By
Gene Smith on that deal.
Yeah. So, but I just appreciate his depth of knowledge on a lot of things. And but we're going to have him on again. I mean, as this World Cup goes, because you got to believe the United States is going to advance at least one rung.
Let's hope.
Yeah. And then we'll see where that goes. But Brian, thank you very much for coming on with us. And we went 30 or so minutes.
Yeah.
Without talking about Ohio State football.
But we have time left.
But you know what we're going to talk about now?
Ohio State.
We're going to talk about Ohio State football, but not just Ohio State football. We're going to talk about Ohio State football with a precise bullseye charge
focus
into what I think you call, at least, the Magnolia State, the great state of Mississippi, and to pull out the number one prospect, at least right now he's committed to Ohio State, to pull out the number one prospect from the state of Mississippi with a commitment over the weekend. How does that make you feel, Mississippi State fan?
Well, per capita, that state produces a heck of a lot of college football players. And once again, this has happened usually in my years in Jackson, Mississippi, mid 80s to mid 90s. It would be Alabama who would come in and do the plucking.
Yeah, and from the great Magnolia State.
And you would recruit, and Ole Miss and State would both. And for many years, Tim, because of the frustration of those two programs, so many fans would say to me, Clay, what could happen? Did
they grab you by the collar?
Yeah.
And do that, Clay?
Well,
Clay, what could happen if we just could put a fence up around the state?
Or
around Mississippi State?
Or have one major college football team.
Well, that's true.
Then you'd have a chance to compete at that level. And kudos to Ole Miss. I mean, I have to give it up for them because they are using a different jet fuel than they used so many years ago. And so now, given what they did last year and almost reaching the national championship game, their fans, Tim, are livid that this young man, 6'5" offensive tackle Caden Moss, rated the number 4 offensive tackle by ESPN in the 2027 class. They are on fire because I don't know if they've had their way, but they've had 2, 3, 4, 5 good classes, recruiting classes, and you can put whatever stock you want in those things. But I agree with a lot of people that stars do matter. But to get this kid and he played the hat game, the theatrics of Tennessee was in there, Ole Miss was in there, four or five different schools.
LSU, I think, was one of the hats.
But he said, "Hey, you just
here's what was cool.
It's like what Ryan.
Here's what was cool. But then when it came to the hat,
okay,
he reached down underneath the table and pulled out what looked like a treasure chest or a little box.
Oh,
and opened the
that
box,
was the ultimate,
and pulled out the golden ticket, which was an Ohio State cap.
Yeah, and
put it on. And we all know all kinds of things are involved in recruiting these days. And but the bottom line is Ohio State went into the heart. I know Alabama's supposedly the heart of Dixie, but so is Mississippi. I mean, they're
the Southeast.
Let's Oracle and Ventricle. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is Ohio State went into the heart of Mississippi, the capital city of Mississippi, and pulled out the number one recruit from the state of Mississippi. And usually those guys, those big time players go to, like you say, Ole Miss, LSU, Alabama. I mean, you've even got Southern Mississippi sitting there, which is oftentimes taking not the leftovers, but whatever you want to call it, from Ole Miss and Mississippi State. But so Mississippi's had a proud program off and on through the years.
But when I was there, Southern Miss with Reggie Collier at quarterback, and then later Brett Favre. They were a thorn in certainly Mississippi State side, and they liked nothing better than to knock off a Mississippi State or an Ole Miss, especially Ole Miss. Because Ole Miss kind of runs it.
When Marcus Dupree, from Philadelphia, Mississippi, northwest of Meridian, Mississippi.
That's it.
About as Mississippi as it can get is Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Yeah.
But when you remember that big recruiting battle between Oklahoma and Texas for him, and there was a story that Earl Bruce, Ohio State was trying to get in on him. I mean,
you told me this.
This guy's sensation. The guy was sensation.
My gosh!
I talked to him last year. I think it was at the Ashland, the charity golf tournament for Charity for Kids golf tournament. I play scramble. I play in every year up in Ashland, and Marcus Dupree was there. Yeah, they always have some guys from outside. I mean, obviously they've had Greg Pruitt there. Former Brown. I keep forgetting Greg Pruitt's older than me. A lot older than me, really, because I saw him play in college before I was ever in college. But
you're talking about the running back from Oklahoma.
Yeah, running back from Oklahoma, played for the Browns.
One of my favorites.
I'm telling you, ever go watch video of Greg Pruitt running the football? He was about as good as it gets.
Exactly.
Just like your man coming out of Jackson State, going to the Chicago Bears. Walter Payton. If the Heisman Trophy really recognized the greatest player in college football that particular season, Walter Payton should have won it. He won what do they call it, the secondary equivalent to the Heisman, the small college, whatever they want to call it. But dude, he was as good as you can get. Steve McNair, of course, came from Alcorn State. Jerry Rice from Mississippi Valley State. These little towns that you frequented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that in Itta-Bena?
Itta-Bena, Mississippi.
Is that where Mississippi Valley State is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Itta-Bena.
Don't blink, you'll miss it.
Exactly. But it was in Oh Brother Where Art Thou. It was mentioned in Oh Brother Where Art Thou. That's what I like about it. But yes, this young man, they went down and got a commitment from. It's never got until the fish is in the boat. But what a big time. You watch his video, how like Huddle, for example, I think it's HUDL.com.
Yep.
But you can watch highlights and video of almost everybody Ohio State obviously is recruiting or gets. You just watch him just road grade, for want of another term, dominate. I think he wears number 73 for Jackson.
330 pounds.
Jackson Academy. Yeah. Now you should dominate, when you're that big and that good and that fast. Watch his footwork. It's crazy how good this young man is. Caden Moss. And then you got that name, Caden Moss.
Yeah, it's a great name.
What a great
name.
So
that is 6 offensive linemen in
we'll see if he sticks with Ohio State, because we all know that kid who transferred to Clemson and then got the phone call from Ole Miss after he'd already shown up in Clemson.
They drove over there and picked him up.
They went and picked him. Need a ride?
Yeah,
yeah. He wasn't even thumbing, and he needed a ride. But
he didn't know he needed a ride.
That's why, like Ryan Day said, if you just enforce the rules that are on the book right now, that would be a great start on figuring out what's going on, taming what's going on in major college athletics, especially football and basketball. But
Caden Moss played basketball, also threw the shot. And when a kid like
when you're in high school and you're that guy like Jim Lachey was at St. Henry. I mean, Jim Lachey ran a 100-meter dash.
How about that?
At St. Henry, he threw the shot. That guy was a superstar at that level. And but yeah, Caden Moss, man, he just wow. And what stands out about him, we had Tony Gerdeman. Tito and I were hosting a radio show over the weekend on 97.1 The Fan. Really enjoyed doing that. And but we had Tony Gerdeman on talking about that, the fact that this is the first big time out of state O-lineman that they've gotten in a while that was this highly ranked.
Right.
And I think it was Donovan Jackson was the previous one. He was out of West Houston, the Katy area in Houston, Texas. But the bottom line is they had 5 commitments already to this offensive line room for 2027, and 5 of the best offensive linemen in the state of Ohio. Right. That goes along with I think it was the 5 or 6 they signed last year. I think it was 5, including our good friend Matt Wilhelm's son, Mason Wilhelm, who had a tremendous spring. He's a developmental player, but man, guys getting banged up, he got to practice the entire spring and get great reps. At center.
Come on, Mason.
Yeah, but I mean, the guy Sam Greer. Oh my goodness.
Huge.
Just go stand next to this guy, get your picture taken now. But the same thing with this Caden Moss, and now they've got 6. They will, even if they stop right now, they might end up with another offensive lineman. Depends, on whether they want to stand pat. But they've got over this past recruiting class and this coming one, they've got 11 quality individuals, and there's time for them to develop based on who's going to be playing this year. There's at least one full year for the guys who came in with the 2026 recruiting class to develop. I really thought offensive line was going to go the way of, because it made sense to me, was going to be the premium player you found in the transfer portal if you're in Ohio State or Georgia or Alabama, Michigan, Penn State.
That's where you get them,
because they've already shown you that whether they can play near that level that you need them to play, and they've had another year or two to develop physically.
Yeah.
But then we saw Ethan Onyeonwa last year. He was supposed to be the guy, and this isn't knocking him. Some guys don't take the bit, and he didn't seem to take the bit.
Yeah.
And
that's why
more power to him, because he may take the bit now.
I kind of like the high school approach, and if you've got top flight people and you don't have to rush them,
that is the key.
I like Tyler Bowen. I like what he's done.
Oh yeah,
and
that's what I'm getting to.
Yeah, we were talking about players who, it's like Jack Sawyer. We were talking about Caden playing basketball in this sport and that sport. When you see a big man who is that agile,
footwork, baby.
Yeah, scoop and score. Even after putting on
a
lot of weight, you got something, man. He goes down in Ohio State lore. Incredible. Yeah, but
the thing about Caden Moss is they also, at that Jackson Academy, they play big time opponents. His head coach has been all over the country in coaching college football, etc. I think he might have had a stint in the NFL. I'm not sure, but this guy's a hell of a coach. They're getting quality coaching. They're playing those academies down there.
Yeah,
and plus they're playing Picayune, by the way.
Picayune, I like
you drive through Picayune on your way to New Orleans after south of Hattiesburg, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
and they started. That's when you saw there were two highbrow academies in Jackson when I was there, Jackson Academy and Jackson Prep.
Yeah, Jackson Prep.
And they were quite intense rivals, but they started this this kind of exporting their talent and playing teams from, scheduling teams from Canada, from here, there, and everywhere.
Well, like Lakewood St. Ed's. I mean, they play several teams from around the country. I mean, but the point is that competition is great because you're not just playing, your local high schools and dominating over a 6'1", 188-pound defensive end.
Yeah,
a lot of times, and sometimes you do. Obviously, it's high school, but I'm talking about the quality coaching this guy is getting even before he ends up at Ohio State. I mean, that pays off.
Well, that's what I noticed. Quoting him now, was talking about the difference in Ohio State and these other schools is the quality of opposition you're going to see day to day,
right?
And the winner loser we've been talking about since as far back as Woody and whatever.
Especially Urban Meyer showed up. That was winner loser. Remember we hear Quinn Temple doing that?
Yes,
over the PA. Yeah, I love the way they do that. I love the way. I forgot the name of the young man who does it now.
Yeah,
because Quinn, he's
moved up.
Quinn has moved way up the ladder, but
right.
I just love the way they inject almost a play-by-play atmosphere to practice.
Right.
I mean, it's
game-like.
It's extremely cool, and of course, you have that constant playlist of all kinds of music going on, very loud, so that you're focused in on what you're supposed to be doing. Teach you to deal with distractions, but Caden Moss, we'll see what he turns out to be. But you know what? Boy, when you got quality lumber going into the lumber mill, right?
That's right.
It's your fault if he doesn't come out a nice board. If you don't get a couple of really nice boards out of it,
You don't want to get behind a pulpwood hauling truck in Mississippi on Highway 49 going.
Or anywhere else, dude. Me and my buddy Jeff Snook, we got behind a few of those in Oregon.
Whoa.
On mountain roads. That'll really, gets your attention. But a neighbor that lived down the road from us in Demopolis, Alabama, when I was a little kid, he had that, it's funny how in 1962 or 3, he had a truck that looked like it was built like 1920, pulling, you've seen those cordwood.
Yes.
Those cordwood trailers.
Yes.
They're just barely a trailer with these big sticks sticking up, holding the wood in, and occasionally one of those sticks breaks. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I would always keep my eight car distance.
Oh, absolutely.
You're afraid something
get hit by the shrapnel.
Oh, you're done.
But I always told people I grew up in East Texas, which is kind of like where we grew up. It's kind of like where the piney woods start, and sweep all the way across the South, all the way up through the Carolinas, Georgia, Carolinas, and up the East Coast there through North Carolina, Virginia, and stuff. And that's why when I went to Pioneers #2 a couple of years ago as a volunteer for the U.S. Open, it reminded me of Lufkin. Sandy hills, rolling, get a little bit of roll to it and stuff, but you can't walk 5 feet without running into a pine tree,
right?
And where you spent some time in Mississippi, I would think is kind of similar, but they cut down a lot of those because of that black soil, where cotton reigns supreme, at least where I was growing up in
the Delta
in Alabama. But
Mississippi.
This wasn't really Delta, although it kind of was because the Tom Bigby River and the Black Warrior River. They converged at in Demopolis, and that's the Tom Bigby River is part of that 10 Tom Waterway.
Bingo.
Which you know about.
Columbus, Mississippi.
Which they didn't open until right after we moved from Alabama to Texas. That's more than anybody else listening to this even cares about, but it's shortened, gave you a shortcut from the Tennessee River to the Gulf of Mexico, Mobile and the Gulf of Mexico, as opposed to having to go all the way up to the Ohio and then coming down into the Mississippi. And all the way down. By the way, have you ever looked at a map? I swear to God, the lower part of the Mississippi, when you look at the map and you look at the way things flow into each other, I think they misnamed the Mississippi. It should have been the Ohio all the way down to the Gulf.
Really?
Yeah, that's my honest opinion.
Well, didn't they? But don't they call it the Mississippi from Minnesota on down?
On down, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the Missouri is
Yeah.
part of that whole thing, that whole drainage system that drains the entirety, right, of Middle America, including the Red River.
The Red, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Red
Oh,
River,
yeah.
Red
Oh, yeah.
River shootout.
Yeah, the Arkansas River, right on down the line. I don't know why we got on that, except
I love it. I love it.
that just reminds me always of, remember, whenever you think Baton Rouge, remember that Baton Rouge in French means red stick.
All I think about in Baton Rouge is humidity.
Yeah.
I like this week. It's going to be
Just like Baton Rouge
It is.
all the time.
right.
Or like where I grew up in East Texas.
And people
Ugh,
here.
I would not move back to that for anything.
Oh, I would.
I wouldn't.
I would
I
trade
could-
the winners.
I'm talking about during
the summer.
no,
Yeah,
during spring, summer, and early fall.
that's true.
It's almost unlivable in the city of Houston, for example.
Oh, there were times I would staff the Ole Miss Mississippi State Egg Bowl late November.
Oh yeah,
And my
depending on the wind.
couple of my kids got sunburn. I mean, it literally, people are falling out in
Yeah.
the stands.
Boy, air
And
conditioning.
it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's funny. Till we moved to Texas, we didn't have air conditioning. I don't remember missing it, but after you have air conditioning,
Yeah,
you miss it. But anyway, I digress. Last thing,
okay.
we opened the show kind of a little bit about Victor Hovland and Scotty Scheffler. I followed Scheffler 2 or 3 days, 3 days, at parts of his rounds at the U.S. Open in Shinnecock Hills, and boy, the it's like there's a death knell going on about Scotty Scheffler in his game, only because he's only won once this
In
year.
9 months, right? Or 8 months.
Well,
I don't know.
But the point is, they had their second kid during that time. Number one, he and his wife did, or his wife had it. He accompanied.
Did you hear the
When you're in the hunt, I mean, he was in a playoff with Victor Hovland, for example, as we record this morning, turned it into be a one-hole playoff, and he hits it within 2 feet, 3 feet of the pin on 18. Hovland hits it, 10 feet?
I didn't catch that part.
And Hovland makes the putt
Makes the birdie.
because he got to go first, and Scotty missed
Who made an 8.5 footer yesterday to stay alive
to stay alive.
on
But
18.
he finished second. He didn't finish 12th, 22nd, 32nd in a signature event. He finished second. At the U.S. Open, he was in the final group with Wyndham Hall, the twosome, on Sunday. I think he ended up finishing fourth because he couldn't make a putt.
Right.
Dude, there are golf courses. People know this about golf. Putting greens, some guys like certain putting greens, some guys don't. Some guys like the way the ball rolls. He just never really he never got in symmetry, I guess would be the right term, or symbiotic. He never got symbiotic with the greens at Shinnecock Hills. Even the practice green, he had trouble because I stood there and watched him and his other 156 guys putt on the practice greens a couple of days. He just never seemed comfortable with the speed and the way the ball was rolling on those greens. I don't know how to explain it to people, but
you play a lot
there
of
are
golf.
there are courses for horses. Go ahead.
Don't you? To me, putting is the most frustrating part of the entire experience.
Well,
You can
Sam
get-
Burns.
You can get off the tee and you can make a decent approach, but like the other day, I'm playing the Ridge where I work, by the way. Number 2,
Another plug.
yeah, number 2, par 4. I'm laying approach and I'm laying 3 and I'm
Dog leg left.
and I'm staring at about a 6 foot
Which level of the green? Was that on the lower level or upper level?
upper level.
Okay.
That's where the cup was.
Yeah.
And
That's a nice green, by the way.
for the first time when you make that putt, even if it's only for par, it changed my entire day.
Of course it does.
Boom, it's in. I'm like, I didn't bogey the hole, I parred it. And it took an up and down and a putt. Like you said, you made 2 putts of 12 feet the other day in a
Or
scramble
more.
in Ashland.
Yeah.
Look out, Tim
Where
Bay's coming.
par was your friend, so you had to birdie or else.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, that's the thing about golf. The reason you love the game is it tests everything about your mental, physiological, even psychological makeup, because like Scotty Scheffler today cracked his drive right down the middle. He and Hovland were almost side by side in the fairway. Hovland cracked his drive, I think, down the middle all four days of the tournament on 18. Scotty scrambled out of just being off the fairway yesterday and made the par putt.
Killer putt.
To get to the playoff, to force the playoff for today. But the point about golf is you go from hitting this little round ball as hard as you can hit it to surgery with a 2.5 foot putt.
Yeah.
And if you screw up the surgery, that's the last thing you want to hear.
Oh, no.
When you're in surgery.
You don't want to have that talk.
You don't want to hear the word oops.
Oops.
But that's why golf tests every bit of your makeup, because you go from killing it to willing it. And sometimes the willing it doesn't work.
Well, I heard this morning on the radio, Scheffler, 42 of 42 before he took that last putt from 3 feet and in at the Travelers.
But that's what it just shows you. You can misjudge the speed by half a mile an hour.
That's why I think
on a
putting is the most difficult, I think.
I think it's about as difficult as anything other than maybe billiards.
Yeah.
Where you got to judge, you have a putt every time. But
right.
But bowling, bowling has some outs, where you can miss the pocket and still maybe knock them all down. Right. By the way, did you watch that before we go? I don't know if it was on Netflix, maybe it was on HBO, but it was produced by Ben Stiller. But it was 6 segment sort of docu-follow reality show on the PBA tour.
No.
And they followed these guys that I used to cover. They're still bowling. When I covered whenever the PBA came to Columbus, I totally enjoyed that. Like people used to give me grief. Well, you covering the PBA, dude? Where else you gonna go in Columbus and see the best in the world?
That's it.
Doing something on a Sunday, a weekend in February, right?
Right.
But totally enjoyed that. But EJ Tackett was just coming on before I quit covering that about 6 or 7 years ago. But just following these guys, and then also the PBA seemed to be on the brink of existence because Fox was not renewing their deal with them. They couldn't come to an understanding, and I guess they have, at the end of the show, they basically announced that the PBA tour will continue. I don't think they said who it was going to be with. It might have been a renewal with Fox for all I know, but just showed the history of when bowling was one of the most watched sports in America on television. Remember Chris Schenkel?
I was about to say,
and before him, and the Webbers.
Oh yeah.
What was it? Don and Pete Weber.
Pete Weber.
Yeah, Pete, his son, who I got to interview a bunch of times. What a pistol that dude is. But yeah, it was really cool because Jason Belmonte.
Yes,
I remember
I know that name.
Who was I talking to about Jason Belmonte one day? The three amigos. What were they? The Paris Campbell, Terry McLaurin, and Dixon. What was his name? I'm drawing a blank. One of my favorite players ever at Ohio State.
Johnny Dixon.
Huh?
Johnny Dixon.
Johnny Dixon. But he was giving me
J-O-H.
Yeah, I retweeted something about bowling one day, and he texted me, Tim May, what do you know about bowling? Blah, blah, blah. And so I texted him an interview I did with Jason Belmonte, for example, who's one of his favorite bowlers, two-handed, from Australia. And just showed him, hey, man, I've been around. I appreciate the finer things in life.
Johnny Dixon.
But Jason Belmonte, God, Johnny, man, I hope you're listening to this, but I hope you didn't listen to that part because you're still one of my favorite players of all time. An incredible example of perseverance and playing through and finally getting your just due at Ohio State. Remember, he had chronic knee pain forever, and he finally got over the hump and was one of the three amigos, or as I called them there last year, the three graduados, because they all had graduated and were still playing. For when you look back on the wide receiver there have been a lot of wide receivers, but remember Zach Smith recruited those guys.
Yep.
And Paris Campbell was a running back in Akron, and but turned into a wide receiver. in his last couple of years, but especially his last year at Ohio State, you saw where he just retired from football.
I did.
But his last year, he was as dynamite as anybody in the country.
As fleet as anyone in the country.
Is that great video of him running past Jim Harbaugh?
Yes.
On the on the sidelines.
I saw it the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just when you think football, great receiver play just started at Ohio State about 5 or 6 years ago.
No.
Do your homework, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can tell you. Tim, who's your favorite? I go, they're all different.
Yeah.
So name what do you want to see from something? And do you want to see a wide receiver run with a running back's flair? Paris Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on down the line. You want to see a guy who could be a ballet, whatever you call it, a male ballerina.
Wasn't he
ballet person?
Percy Harvin?
Huh?
Wasn't he everybody, because Urban came in and he was always looking for Percy Harvin.
Oh yeah, he was looking for Percy. I mean, yeah.
And I think
I'm not sure Urban thought any of those three were going to pan out though at one point.
Yeah.
But it was Mr. Harrison Jr. Is the guy I was getting to name.
Marvin.
You want to see one of the great players to ever play college football? Tune in this year with Jeremiah Smith. And do you want to see the guy, as I keep saying, I like saying this line, who could be his stunt double if they were making a movie about Jeremiah Smith, starring Jeremiah Smith this year? His stunt double could be Chris Henry Jr. That's the way things are going. Of course, they picked up a couple of big time receivers this past week from a commitment standpoint, one for 2029 and one for 2027. So the beat, it keeps rolling at The Ohio State University when it comes to football. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Clay Hall.
Enjoyed
for
it.
Clay Hall, I'm Tim May. Until next time, we'll see you then.